Hey everyone, welcome to the Withering Effect episode 114. Today's date is September 26, 2021, and I am Duds, or Duds versus known to the rest of the interweb.
And I'm Jimbo. You may know me as Jimbo Slice 23. So what have you been up to this week, Duds?
Being tired. Being extremely exhausted.
Still running around?
Yeah, the lowest miles I walked this week was 6.5. That's at work, and it broke 100 a couple times this week in the warehouse. There were times I came home just drenched in sweat. I mean, soaking wet.
Is it a big warehouse?
No, it's not that big.
Just all over it.
It's just all over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm coming home exhausted, which means when it comes to making videos and stuff, it's not a great process. Because most of the time I'm recording exhausted, like I can't tell if it's coming through on the episodes yet or not yet. So we'll have to see. But I have been doing like a lot of base progress is going to happen in this next episode. I wanted it to come out Monday. 95% chance it's not coming out on Monday. More likely it'll be a Tuesday release, which I hate. I wanted it out on Monday, but it's not going to happen.
Is Mondays usually better?
Mondays usually are a better release date for me.
Okay. Yeah, you were saying how bad the weekends do.
Yeah. It is what it is. My channel is slowly growing, which is nice.
It is.
The biggest thing that's holding me back is watch time. I've got my in-pour room it gets a lot of views, but the watch time is really bad on it for some reason. Like people just kind of go to the one spot where they see it done and then realize I have a quote-unquote tutorial video for it, so they just click off and go somewhere else. So the watch time's getting pretty low, which I think kind of hurts me a bit, but I don't know. I don't get the YouTube algorithm, why certain videos take off and certain videos don't, why people subscribe and don't watch anything, or why people watch everything and don't hit the subscribe button. It's very strange.
Yeah, well, even though your views aren't up as much as you would like, or what is it, watch time?
Watch time, yeah. My views have actually gone up this past week, which has been real nice.
Oh, cool.
There's been a couple people going back and watching through this playlist of this season. So if you're one of them, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I was going to say, even though your watch time isn't up, you see that you're kind of inspiring those coming to watch your video, to look at your end portal room and hopefully to inspire others. Yeah. We don't know if they're just straight up copying it or maybe they're getting some inspiration.
Oh no, I know exactly what's happening.
Block for block.
So the number one comment on both episodes are, what are the dimensions of the room?
Yeah.
And I say in the tutorial that I'm not giving the dimensions of the room. One, because if you honestly look at the build, it's one of the simplest builds I've ever done. If you just build it how I built it, you won't need the measurements. Like, it'll give them to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, normally you can tell.
Two, like, I showed the parts of the room and how I did all that so people can, like, create their own and build on top of it, not do an exact copy. But no, every week I get at least one question. What are the dimensions of the room? Even though, like, that's one of the very first things I answer in the tutorial is, don't build an exact copy. I'm going to show you how I built this one so you can build your own and build on mine.
Yeah, I remember watching that, and I think, what did you do, by panel? Something like that?
Yeah.
Not by
it's
dimension.
3 panels on every wall, and they're the exact same panels. And then I show you how to build each panel in the tutorial.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember.
So all you have to do is build the panel and count. And it's pretty easy. The thing is, people have gotten so used to tutorials that are like redstone tutorials, where it's a step-by-step process. And I don't build in a step-by-step process. I'll throw a layer of blocks down, and then I make another pass and throw another layer of blocks down, and then I'll make another pass and change a layer of blocks. That's how I am. I can't do the meticulous placing blocks in certain areas at a certain scheduled time. Nah, that's not me.
Nah. It's for the birds.
Yeah. The paint by numbers building, I can't do it. Other than that, I've actually been doing base plans for next season. Some drawings in my notebook, how I want everything to go. Originally, it was planned on being a city, and then it kind of moved to a nice village. Now I'm thinking It's going to be like a village, but it's going to be like a lodge type village with a bunch of cabins.
Ah, should be cool.
So I'm pretty excited about that. Like I've been drawing out the quote unquote lodge, and I've got a manor and stuff like that. One's going to be a trading hall and one's a storage room and stuff. So
yeah, it should be cool.
Hopefully it's going to be really cool.
I could picture it in like a snowy mountain. Bunch of lodges.
Nope. I don't want no snow.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah, no. Snow in Minecraft is one of those things I don't like playing with.
Me neither.
Because it looks pretty for a single shot. And then you realize you're in there for a year and you're having to light things up. And then you got to deal with melting snow.
Mm-hmm.
With the light level changing this coming update, that might be a little bit better. Because you can have lower light levels still stop spawns. Which means snow won't melt as easily.
Right. Yeah.
So that might be a better thing. That was always my biggest gripe is you had to have light levels that are so high it melts snow. So why bother building on snow? You're just going to end up melting it away anyways.
Yeah, that is annoying.
Or you have to put so many snow layers down to keep things from spawning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember that. But I was just thinking, with the new mountain update, you might be interested. Cabin in the mountain.
Well, see, that's the other thing. Is you're right, is from what the way my build is sounding, it would sound like it would be perfect for the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody on YouTube doing Minecraft it will be building in the mountains or on the mountains next season. Almost guaranteed. So I'm staying away from them.
Yeah.
There's so much oversaturation in the content making for Minecraft and YouTube. I'm already the tiny guy. Well, you're the tiny guy with me.
Mm-hmm. I'm a tinier guy.
Yeah. We can't have our stuff blending in with everybody else's stuff and building the same way.
Yeah.
That and I built a mountain this season.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I feel like people didn't have mountains before to where they had to build mountains, to make it look more authentic.
Yeah.
And they already did their mountain thing, and it's kind of, okay, now we got mountains. Do I want to play with that again or some more? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe those who haven't got to build a mountain and did a mountain base would have more fun with those. But I could see a lot more people underground because of the depths.
Well, you're right. I think the people who have already built their mountains are going to be playing underground in the caves a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
But for the ones that haven't been building their mountains who are waiting, they will be up on the mountain.
Yeah.
And I'm doing neither, so there we go. Honestly, other than the deep dark, the cave update really doesn't strike my fancy. Not saying it's a bad update. It probably is a really good update. And it did bring deep slate, which is the best block in the game now. But I was one of those guys who are like, we need something more important than caves to be updated.
Mm-hmm.
Hint, hint, inventory.
I'm okay with the cave update. But anyways, my week.
Yeah.
Not much editing. Actually haven't even opened the editing software.
Mm-hmm.
So, I have some clips I made in, the replay mod, and I kind of put them aside. I jumped on, I played a little bit of Dungeons, and then it crashed on me after like 2 levels, and it crashed on me. So I kind of, wasn't motivated to jump back on, so I didn't play as much Minecraft as I told myself. I've done a lot of house cleaning. The weather's changed around here. It's a lot cooler outside. It's a lot nicer. The sun isn't beating down on you all day, wearing you down. We have this thing in our town to where in the spring and in the fall, the garbage man comes around and takes everything. Whatever you put out there, they'll take it. They'll take it for you. So we went through the house later this weekend, and then this weekend I did a bunch of stuff this morning to get rid of all the stuff in the house we don't need. And while doing that, I just kept thinking about having like a garage sale or yard sale. I know those can be helpful to make a little extra cash, but I just felt like we had a lot of stuff to get rid of. So I've been doing a lot of that. But I think with me cleaning, like it almost becomes addicting, cleaning your house, because it's like an instant satisfaction thing. You get to see your progress as soon as you're done cleaning. So yeah, I went on like a cleaning spree, but needless to say, the house is pretty much spotless for me and my cleaning rampage.
Good.
Feel good about it. That's about it for my week.
All right, guys, let's see if we can push Jimbo next week to play Minecraft.
Next week it is.
You have a pattern.
Yeah, what? Not playing Minecraft?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a segment of the podcast for what we've done in Minecraft this week.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. Well, it doesn't say Minecraft anymore.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get on to the snapshot because it's our second real snapshot of 118. This one has a lot of technical upgrades that might be good, might not be good. I wanted to test them this weekend. This was going to be one of those snapshots that I actually jumped into a world to test because there's some big performance upgrades. We'll get to those in a bit. Let's talk about ore distribution because it's the one thing we always have to talk about that we can't seem to describe right, but at least now we have some numbers.
Now I'm confused. Like, do people not like the ore distribution? Is that why they keep changing it? I don't understand. I thought the ore distribution was okay, but they keep changing.
Now they've extended the Ys.
Yeah.
The Y-axis now. So they've got to reorganize the ore.
Yeah, I guess it is the second snapshot.
Yeah.
Technically. I mean, they messed with it before, but this is the new Y level ore distribution.
Right. So now copper's going up to Y95, which they said they were going to do that originally anyways before they released 117. They've also increased the amount of copper, which is good.
Yes.
As someone who has yet to find copper ore.
Or like copper.
Then again, I'm not looking for it, but I just like putting it out there. That all of my time mining for deep slate, I've never hit any copper.
Yeah, that's strange.
Yeah. I know it doesn't naturally spawn around deep slate level. I get a lot of people saying, well, it's not on the same level. But I have to mine down to deep slate, and I do that in different pockets. I'm not just using one mine shaft, and I've never run across it.
There's some down there.
Yeah.
You'll find some every once in a while down there. I have. But yeah, normally it's above that, around iron level.
Right. I think it's like 45. So whenever I'm digging my stairway down, I do some pokey holes and look, and I get more iron from drown farms. And then Lapis is going to generate in blobs now instead of spread out. I always thought it generated in blobs anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't call it, what would they call it then? A vein beforehand?
They just said it was a spread out.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever found more than 4 or 5 lapis ore next to each other anyways.
Yeah, I'd go as far as say 3 or 4 next to each other.
Right.
I don't even know if I'd say 5. I noticed there are, in the blobs, you can get like 5
like
or
8.
6. Yeah, maybe up to 8. Is that what it is?
I think. I don't know.
It might be similar to diamonds, like a diamond blob.
We keep hearing about ore generation. We're like, oh, we have to talk about this. Either way, just look at it this way. Copper now is higher up in the world and you get more of it, which is definitely a win.
Should be getting more lapis, but you'll find it in the same areas.
I don't think you're going to get more lapis. You're just going to get different shaped lapis.
Oh, I thought blobs would be a little bit bigger. Could be wrong, but you might get more per blob.
I just got to go on what the notes say, and the notes do not say more.
Yeah, it doesn't technically say that, so I guess you're right.
Yeah, so I'm not getting anyone's hopes up.
There's plenty of lapis.
Yeah, there are known issues with the snapshot. Like, again, it's not compatible with older worlds. Oh, which means I wouldn't be able to do my tests I wanted to do for this anyways. That's good. Whatever. And then world saving can sometimes take very long. I'm sure that's going to get fixed.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll play with that a little bit.
Yeah. And then the last small change before we get to the big technical stuff. Sprinting. Now, they've reduced the likelihood of, while sprinting, if you rub up against something, that you'll stop sprinting. And I want to say they reduced it 5%.
Oh, is that it?
So, or that's like the angle. Actually, it's like the angle of approach reduced wise.
Yeah. Kind of like if you're walking and you graze up against something.
Right.
In the game, it would stop you.
I'm going to go with 95% of the time, you probably aren't going to notice this change.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's very subtle.
Yeah. But it is a change that I like them making because it is an issue That happens sometimes. I think I'm not as affected using a controller because I have joysticks and can do my precision is a little bit better instead of the WASD keys because of the joystick. But
yeah, I'm curious if they're looking into the sprinting bug, the jerking sprinting bug as well.
I hope so. That's the bug I want fixed the most.
This could be a little heads up that they're looking into different sprinting abilities or...
Yeah, because when that happens, it can happen for just a couple seconds, but it'll still make me nauseous. And then I'll watch somebody's stream, and they just kind of let it keep going until they get to their destination.
Oh.
I have to turn the stream off. If you are a streamer or a content creator and you're having that happen on your screen, please do not let it continue to happen. You will lose viewers.
Yeah, and it's annoying. Like,
yeah.
That was me. No way. I got to stop in my tracks and fix that.
Yeah.
I think you're losing speed, right? Feels like you're going slower.
I don't think you actually physically... I think it's just a visual glitch.
Yeah, still annoying.
Yeah. But the big change...
Oh, the big one.
And it's a parity change.
Yes.
Simulation distance settings. So, in the Java world, this was built in with loaded chunks. And Bedrock, this was a separate setting. So, what this setting does... is you're basically telling a radius of chunks loaded to have AI attached to them. So if anything that has AI is outside of said chunk simulation, it basically turns off. So if you have animals, cows, pigs, chickens, dolphins, fish outside of that chunk simulation, they could still be in chunk loading range. But if they're outside of chunk simulation range, they just kind of stand still.
Right.
Not do anything.
Yeah, and originally it would just be the render distance.
Right.
Wherever you put your render distance would be your simulation as well. Now they separated those two.
Exactly. Exuma did a video showing this off, and it worked out really well.
Yeah.
Where he turned his render distance up high, simulation distance down low, threw a bunch of snowballs outside of the simulation distance. And because they were still in the loaded visual distance, you could see them just constantly falling and never actually hit. It looked like they were lagging really bad. But the second you turn the simulation distance up, all the snowballs hit the ground. I've seen some guys show it where they'll turn the simulation down and then shoot arrows at like cows or pigs and shoot enough arrows and stuff to kill the animal, but the animal doesn't die. The second they turn the simulation distance up, all the arrows actually hit the animal and boom, dead.
Yeah, I didn't get to see those. They did show how redstone can be connected through it.
Yeah, it looks like redstone's not affected by it.
Yeah, say you have a piston outside of the simulation distance, it will still trigger the piston.
Yes.
Yeah, throughout those render distances. Yet, if you have a minecart on some power rails, it will stop once it hits that simulation distance. So I think it's like any active redstone or movable redstone.
That's why I chose AI, because to me, redstone is just an on or off signal.
Okay.
It's a 1 or a 0, whereas a moving minecart has, how do I put it? It has a path it has to find and follow. Yes, that path is already laid out in rails, but the minecart still has to say, I need to go here, I need to go here, I need to go here. Just like an animal going, I need to go here, I need to go here, I need to go here. Whereas redstone just says, I need to be on, I need to be off.
Yeah, and the cart has a destination.
Right.
Okay.
Because we've seen items moving in air. They stop.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like flying machines, slime block flying machines, they would be stopped, I can imagine.
I don't know, because in the preview or the snapshot video I saw, a piston activated.
Yeah. Well, I know this season my flying machines would get broken if I was at a render distance.
Yes.
I was thinking the render distance, would be, it's the same thing as the simulation distance now, separating them though. If they would leave at simulation distance, they would probably stop. Not sure. Haven't seen that tested or anything, but you would think.
You would think. And the problem is I just can't say for sure. Like I said, I wanted to do some testing this weekend on this. I really wanted to load the ripple effect backup world because my base is starting to get some real struggles with some frames. And let's see if this helps. Now, this isn't the big performance boost that I'm really pushing. The big thing for me is Minecraft code, as far as I know, and I could be saying this wrong, so if I am, please someone jump in the Discord, let me know, explain it to me a bit. Don't just be like, Duds, you're dumb, you're wrong.
Okay.
But Minecraft was running on 7 threads, and when we're talking about computers and stuff, usually the more threads the better. But because Minecraft runs on a limited thread, stuff like an Intel chip processor was really good for Java Minecraft, because it could do the single high performance threading really, really well. It was a beast.
Okay.
But Ryzen has come along, and it does the multiple threads using, I forget what it's called, but basically they're digital threads, and does lots of threading better, which is not necessarily the best for Minecraft. It's great for like video editing and live streaming and stuff like that, but playing the game, you're not going to get the best out of it. Well, now Mojang has upped the threads to 255.
Oh.
So from 7 to 255 is a huge boost, at least in my eyes. At least I hope so. So I was going to see if my Ryzen chip, which does a lot of threads very well, would get a bit of a performance boost out of it.
Yeah, that's a good question. Something I might have to look at.
Yeah.
The new snapshot. Now, one of the questions I would have is you can set your simulation distance and your render distance, so you can look out a lot further if you wanted to, and have things working in, I don't know, 5 chunk radius, we'll say. If your render distance is set to 10, you can see twice as much than what is going on around you. Now, is this per server, or can you attach this simulation distance to just one player? Like if I wanted to, let's say I wanted to AFK my farm and I'm on a server.
Oh, are you saying is it client side or server side?
Right.
Well, there is a server setting to be put on there. Now, I don't know if I would have to assume it's going to work like render distance now. Like the ripple effect render distance, I think set to like 12 or something like that. But if you yourself individually set it to 5, you're still only going to get 5.
Right.
But if you set it to 18, you're not going to get more than 12.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
I'd have to think that's the way it's going to work.
Yeah, I bet you're right. Yeah, I was curious how they would do that. If that would be too much or if that's doable. Yeah, it'd be nice to know if I want to AFK one farm, I can isolate my render distance or my simulation distance to just work that area and not any further than that. That's good to know.
That's true. If you're in a base with a bunch of laggy farms and you need to do some overnight AFKing for a single farm, that would probably be the better option, is to stand as close as you can to it.
Yeah.
And turn your simulation down.
Yeah, make sure all your redstone is in the same bubble also, because that's still, that goes out of distance. It might not work. Could break some stuff.
Yeah.
But it's a good change altogether. I really like how they're dealing with the whole rendering process, because I was a little afraid with the rendering when they added the new height and depth.
My only worry now is I hope replay mod doesn't get broken for a long time again.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, big changes like this.
I love me some replay mod. That's a mod that's changed the way how I make videos. So great for those guys for putting it out there. I was getting ready to join their Patreon and throw some money in there so I could get access to the beta version of it. And it just so happened that week they put it out for free. Might be doing that next time.
I was able to get the beta version. I actually used it on a couple of my videos, but not too much. I mean, obviously the one that they're giving out when everything's finished is better, not just the beta. But yeah, it's nice having that. Yeah. To get different angles of footage.
All right. Should we move on?
Yeah, looks like that's about it.
So we've got a listener comment from Ol. In Discord, it was just OL. I'm gonna put it that way. If you want to go by another name, let us know in Discord, and we'll make it right next episode. But they ask, I was wondering what you think of how mining will work. For example, would the best way to find diamonds just exploring rather than strip mining at a certain level? or would you set up different strip mines at different levels?
With the new 118?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what we're talking about?
This goes back to the ore distribution charts we have to keep looking at.
Yeah, these diamond levels, I think they kind of got them where they want them now, but it's changed a lot, as well as, the copper and all the other ores.
Yeah.
I've never really got to mine in 118. In 117, it's 11. You go to 11 on your way down. If I would see any caves, I would go caving, but normally I'd make a strip mine, and I'd separate each mine 3 blocks apart. That's how I would go mining, and usually I'd come up with a good bit of diamonds, depending on your tools, of course, and your fortune enchantments. But yeah, that's the way I would do it. Definitely strip mining. Again, with 118, new cave simulation.
Mm-hmm.
As far as we know, there's not going to be many exposed ores. They mentioned that. That is something I remembered. I did remember that. Not as many exposed ores. So I guess caving wouldn't be ideal anyway.
Yeah, whether or not that's going to be final or not, I don't know. I'm pretty grumpy about that myself because the whole part of the cave update was for you to be caving. But now if you go caving, you have less chance of finding ores, which is why you would go caving in the first place.
Yeah.
The big question you got to ask yourself is, what are you looking to get out of it? Most people are looking for diamonds. So they go, like Jimbo said, Y11. And do some strip mining. Sometimes you set up a beacon and you just go full on, take everything out, mining.
Yeah.
But you get so much extra stuff with just looking for diamonds that you're like, oh, I need some coal. Might as well go mine for diamonds because I know I'm going to hit a lot of coal on the way also. But the new ore distribution is going to change a little bit. Diamonds are still near the bottom. So setting up deep down is still going to be your way to go. But like, copper's more to the top, iron's more to the top. Also, you have to think, I've come so far in redstone abilities, and redstone farms have come so far in simplicity that if I need an ore, most of the time it's easier to farm for it than it is to dig for it.
Yeah.
I know there's going to be a lot of Minecrafters who go, that's what's wrong with Minecraft. And I'm going to say, nah, I'm okay with how it is, because there's a lot of people who don't understand even the simplest redstone and would prefer mining, and that's perfectly good too.
Yeah, because this update is for you.
Right.
You have a great atmosphere to mine in now.
Except you're not going to find any ores in that atmosphere, so just go down to a Y level and dig.
Yeah, they did mention different elevations. You could, I'm pretty sure just because it's so deep now, -64, there's probably a couple of good areas to mine at to find diamonds.
From the last time I saw the chart, which has been a while, they didn't put a chart with this snapshot. From what I remember, I want to say, like, was it -40 or something was the big diamond level, but iron and copper were like +35 were good levels. So you might have a mine shaft with multiple heights in it to get certain materials.
Yeah.
I don't know. But we haven't actually done any digging in this one, so we don't really know for sure.
Right.
Oh, there was something I forgot to bring up during the news that actually kind of works with this. So one of the big rumble around was what's going to happen to old chunks when you update, because obviously you have negative Y values now. And one, I think I read, it was either King Bee Dogs or Heinrich, that you have a toggle button. You can say, don't touch my chunks, or you can have a yes, affect my chunks button. So there's that. And two, if you chose to affect the chunks, now this is from the Bedrock beta. So I'm going to assume they're going to try to stay as close to parity as possible. But in the Bedrock beta, if you accept your chunks being messed with, the Bedrock instead old chunks turns to deep slate, and then you can go into the negatives and old chunks. And that comes from Prowl's video. He did a good 19 minute video on the Bedrock beta stuff. That video link will also be in the show notes.
Yeah, it's interesting. You don't get to hear too much about Bedrock. At least, I play Java, so I don't hear much about it.
Yeah.
It is interesting, the parity differences.
I do know, I think they had their Trident killers broken in this update.
Oh.
So, ouch.
Yeah. Now what are they going to do?
Yeah. And there was another bug that they got from it. They did get the ability to, I don't want to say equip because it's wrong, But activate the elytra in a downward or in an upward fall or downward fall. Either way, they can now do the double jump like we do to activate the elytra.
Oh, they didn't have that yet.
They didn't have that yet.
Well, congratulations, Bedrock. It's pretty nice.
There are some parity changes happening.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool.
Thank you for that one, Old. Again, if you go by a different name, let us know. We'll get it fixed. That comment was from our Discord, and it's the only place where you can easily talk to everyone who works on the show. Man, I messed that whole thing up.
Yeah, rewind.
Because it's almost exactly like the outro. It's the only place you can talk to everyone who works on the show easily. Jimbo, 9 o'clock at night is too late to be recording this.
Yeah, we're almost at 9, so you should be okay for another 20 minutes.
Nope.
And then you can start messing stuff up.
Nope, brain's turned off.
Went off early.
Anyways, just take C3PO's word for it.
Hello, interwebs. I'm C3PO, a member of the Withering Effect Discord. A great place to talk to fellow like-minded Minecrafters and to get to know the people from the show. Sometimes there are even puppy pictures. Don't delay. Join the Discord today. Link is in the show notes. Toodaloo! Duds made me say that.
Thank you for the ad. See?
Each week on the show, we mention the top 3 members who have been earning XP and leveling up by participating in chat, excluding ourselves and our moderators. This week's top 3 Discord members are number 3, Ender Guy. Second place is Viper's Tuna. And in first is Ski3012. Join in with the chat on the Discord and you can be mentioned next week. Pretty sure we got that right. Ski3012.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking ski or sky, but...
Well, sky's with a Y.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying now. Some people spell words oddly.
Yeah.
For screen names, but I do think it's ski.
Yeah. Sky just seems more like a name than ski. So that's why I was asking.
Yeah.
Making sure I was right.
Anyway, speaking of the Discord, it's the only place you can get involved in our Mending Minecraft vote. This week we asked you to choose between one of 3 biomes for us to discuss and improve. Your choices were the Frozen Ocean, Soul Sand Valley, or Plains.
And the winner of Mending Minecraft this week is... Frozen Ocean.
Nice.
Yeah, it had 44 votes. Frozen Ocean. Soul Sand Valley with 10 and 27 for Plains. I was thinking Soul Sand Valley for some reason. Good thing I didn't make a bet.
Nah, I was thinking Plains was going to win. I'm glad Frozen Ocean win because I have some cool ideas for that.
Oh, nice. Before you give us those, let me tell you a little bit about the Frozen Ocean. Frozen Ocean has dark purple water at the surface, like the standard and cold oceans. It has gravelly seabed through the water surface is mostly frozen. Neither seagrass nor kelp generates on the seafloor of a frozen ocean. Didn't know that. Large icebergs made of snow blocks, packed ice, and a bit of blue ice frequently generate on the surface, where rabbits, polar bears, and strays may spawn. And the deep ocean is another variant with the same features, spawning features, mechanics, stuff like that, except for it can spawn an ocean monument, and the regular Frozen Ocean can't. And that's all I got for the Frozen Ocean.
I'm going to go with an obvious one. I know people have said before in chats and stuff, especially with the Caves and Cliffs updates, we need some icicles. Straight up use the dripstone or the pointy dripstone texture.
Mm-hmm.
Paint it blue, call it an icicle.
Yeah, like a clearish blue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that would be really nice, and it makes tons of sense, especially now that everything's getting caves. And I have seen, I guess, tiny ice caves in some of these snapshot videos. It makes sense. I really want icicles. That'd be really cool. They wouldn't have a lot of farming purposes, but they look cool, so we're going to go with it.
I could see them producing water without the water. They would just drip.
Yeah.
Can't get any lava out of it, clearly, because it's ice, but
no.
Producing water, maybe. Or maybe take the dripstone, don't let it produce water, just make the icicles produce water, and the dripstone be the lava thing. Just separate them.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Remember, I always try to put some kind of prize in a box when I create these biomes. So my prize in a box this time will be creatures frozen in the ice. Whether it be fish, dolphins, maybe a zombie got frozen in the ice. And I don't mean like active in the ice, where they can like roam around and stuff behind an ice wall. I mean, they are stuck in the ice. They are an ice cube. And the only way to get them out is to melt the ice.
Okay.
If you break the ice, you kill the mob.
Even if you silk touch it.
Even silk touching it kills the mob.
I feel like you could move the mob, a frozen mob, if you silk touch it.
Yeah, you can. If you can keep it cold and use pistons, you should be able to move it.
That'd be cool.
How cool would that be?
Yeah, mix it up a little bit.
For creating a new mob for this area, we need an abominable snowman or a yeti.
Yeah, now we're talking.
Yeah. Going to dungeons, I don't remember many snow levels. I want to say there was one, but it's been a while since I played it. I'm at the end game right now, so it's been a while. But the redstone golem, its general shape would fit really well with a yeti. Imagine a white version of that with, instead of the red striping for the redstone, you got blue for ice. That could be really cool.
Yeah.
And then lastly, last week we talked about new ways of transportation in Minecraft. What about a dog sled?
Ah, I like that.
Imagine being able to craft a dog sled with some wood, planks, and sticks, and then you're able to leash multiple dogs to the sled and steer it around. That would be so awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd be able to steer, right?
Oh, yeah.
Lead your dogs the way you want.
I don't know how you would want to steer it, because, I mean, you think about real dog sleds and stuff. The dogs are smart enough to kind of stay on the path for the most part. There's not a ton of steering involved in things, but
There's usually like a whip involved, just to signal go.
I don't think there's a whip in dog sleds.
No?
No. So I'm pretty sure there's not. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't. We won't be whipping dogs in Minecraft anyways.
Yeah, well, I don't think they actually whip the dogs. Maybe they do. I thought it was like an attention type of deal. I could be wrong.
I don't know.
I've never did a dog sled before. Believe it or not.
Same.
That'd be fun, though.
But I think that would be so fun to have in the game.
Yeah.
Especially traversing these new snowy peaks and stuff.
Yeah, it'd be cool to like make a chain of them to make it a little bit faster.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I think it'd be awesome. I would love that in the game. I'd immediately build an outpost in a snowy area so I could have dog sleds.
Yeah. Trying to see if there's anything on Discord. Some people want the chillager. They want the chillager or iceologer.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's pretty popular. I wouldn't mind having it in there. I could see it being more of like a mountain mob instead of a frozen ocean.
Yeah, it would be more of a mountain mob, I think.
Yeah, the only thing I was thinking of is, maybe let's get some ice caves in the frozen ocean. Like, the caves that are underneath the water. Be nice to have those icy. Those ones icy. Or the ones in the mountains. Get some icy caves.
Yeah.
But, because of the new world size, there could be biomes and different Y levels. So, might change in that case.
Exactly, yeah. Ice caves are definitely something the world needs, though. Anyways, should we move on to our main topic?
Yeah, that's all I got.
All right. Our main topic comes from another former guest, LogicalGeekBoy. Logic has recently taken a bit of a break from his SMPs and stuff, and has been putting out some pretty creative episodes, and one of them a couple weeks ago caught my eye. And thinking back about it, so this week we were supposed to have a guest on, but we're having to push that back. So when I needed to come up with a topic for this week, Logic's video worked out really well. His video is the 20 small updates from Minecraft, and this is in response to Dinnerbone. Dinnerbone has come back to Mojang, has been working on a couple small fixes, such as when you're typing in chat while sleeping in a bed, and then you pop up out of bed, the chat disappears. He has fixed that issue now, and he wanted to know what are some other small updates he could be working on. Well, Logic responded with this video, and there's a bunch of them that we really like. So I had Jimbo help me put together our top 5 we liked from Logic and what we would want to see in there.
And there's some good ones.
A lot of good ones.
Mm-hmm.
There were some I wasn't so much a fan of. Mainly, I think the wool dyeing recipe change. The way he says it is right now, white wool and dye, it's one wool, one dye to do the recipe. And it makes more sense to have one dye and 8 wool because that's the way everything else works in the game.
Yep.
100% correct. Makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
My only negative against it is that you can't farm the colored blocks like you can farm wool blocks. So because the colored wool is so much easier to farm, that's my only reason not to go with that. He's completely right, and it makes totally 100% to do 8 blocks at a time for one dye. But because wool farms are so simple, so cheap, I'd vote against that one.
I'm going to vote for it. You know that.
I knew you would.
You already know that. You already shut me down already, but that's okay. I'll explain.
Actually, I didn't. I just so happened to look over at your notes when you said that, and I went, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Whoops.
That's in there. That's one of my top 5. Just spoiler alert.
Do your controversial mentions first, and then we'll get to the top 5 real quick.
Yeah, this is one that I liked. Didn't end up in my top 5, but it is a controversial change that he mentioned. And he mentioned ahead of time that diamonds aren't as valuable. You know, unless you're in an SMP, you're able to trade them, use them for a currency. In single player, there's other ways to get diamond stuff, and mainly through villagers and trading. So he mentioned to have villagers not trade any diamond tools, weapons, or armor.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, a wandering trader would sometimes then have these diamond tools and armor, you know, with the chance of an enchantment. Now, I really like this idea. I think diamonds are taking a backseat. You know, it's not as impressive now to have all these diamonds, and to make them more valuable, we should take them away from the villagers. They're taking all our diamonds. We're like, where do they get all these tools and stuff anyway? Yeah,
and see, I'm for the villagers having that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And there's really not I don't have a good argument to stand on. But just taking the other side in it, villagers in general have made a lot of stuff kind of OP.
Mm-hmm.
Book trades and all that stuff with their zombie conversion abilities. And let's not forget, remember how hard it used to be to get emeralds?
Yeah.
Not that way anymore, is it?
Mm-mm.
I mean, between raid farms and just trades, you can rack up some emeralds relatively quick. Plus, his fix was giving the diamond gear to the wandering trader. And I actually really prefer our wandering trader fixes from last week.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with those.
Yeah, I didn't realize how much, till he mentioned it, I really thought about it. It's like, yeah, diamonds really aren't, the end all be all anymore. And
oh, yeah, 100% right.
Just to get that value up a little bit, that would help.
Yeah. Let's move on to number 5. What do you have for 5?
I got the quartz recipe.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he mentioned that it's very annoying, and I had this issue this season where you can have 4 pieces of quartz that you mine. You can create a block out of that, but never can you undo that. You can't get your quartz back. Once it's a block, it's a block. You can't undo it to get your quartz back. Now, a lot of ores, raw ores, you put together, not just raw ores, even the other ores, you put together, you can make a block out of these, and you can undo those. You can uncraft them, I think is the word I'm looking for, and get your ingots back or your ores back. So it would only make sense to have the quartz do that. Now, I found myself in this situation because I used different kind of quartz, and I would have abundant of one thing, and I couldn't get the other, so because I wasn't able to uncraft them.
For me this season, it became any quartz I mined was left in the flowering state, and I specifically only used it for redstone.
Yeah.
If I needed quartz blocks, I traded for them.
Mm-hmm. That'd be a way to get quartz in general.
Yeah. My number 5 is netherite instant mine on deep slate.
Good one.
And it makes a lot of sense, and not for some of the ways people are thinking. Deep slate's supposed to be a thicker, harder material, which makes sense. It's deeper in the ground. More pressure makes it more compact, more dense, thus harder to mine, which means you shouldn't be able to instant mine it. Except the gold pickaxe. Yeah, I'm bringing in a useless tool to explain why netherite should have instant mining abilities. One, if you look at the properties of the gold pickaxe and netherite pickaxe when enchanting, they are relatively close to each other compared to the diamond pickaxe and the netherite pickaxe. You would have to assume that they're both fundamentally around the same kind of material. Plus, it takes gold to make netherite.
Mm-hmm.
That's already there. Gold pickaxes have super quick speeds. They have no durability, but they're a lot faster tools. Thus, a netherite pickaxe would technically be faster than a diamond pickaxe since it's made out of part gold. And because it's netherite, it's also a lot tougher than a diamond pickaxe. We see that in the durability settings. So you should be able to mine deep slate with haste 2 and a netherite pickaxe.
I agree. I like it. My number 4. This is one I'm really hoping they change a little bit. And that's movable budding amethyst blocks.
Yes.
As of right now, you find an amethyst geode. The budding amethyst isn't something you can mine and take with you. It's got to stay there, and your amethyst crystals will bud in that area. So you can't move them. You kind of have to mine all the blocks around them for these things to be farmed.
Yep.
And it can be very annoying in some of the placements that these things are in because you can't pick and choose. It's kind of just there. Now, his idea was to being able to push these with a piston, just kind of push them around and not mine them, at least to where you can get them in place to have a decent, efficient farm. I thought that was a great idea.
Yeah, I want to move. I've said that before, that I think that's the biggest problem with amethyst, is that you can't move the budding blocks. Honestly, I'd be fine with pistons moving. I still don't see why you can't soak touch it. Then again, I also can't see why you can't soak touch spawners, but it is what it is. Let's not to mention the way they spawn can also hurt your efficiency of your farm too. Especially, this wouldn't be a big deal if these things grew at a relatively quick pace, but they're super slow.
Yeah.
So to me, that's what makes this a problem. If they had faster spawn times, non-issue. But the fact that you can be waiting for an hour and only end up getting 2 for an hour AFKs, it's crazy. So the efficiency in this farm is a much needed thing, and the fact that how a block spawns can affect your efficiency is just, it's no bueno.
Right. I think I brought up a long time ago, I'd rather be able to flush it with water,
Yeah.
Be able to break the crystals with water. That would be a lot more helpful.
Mm-hmm.
If not, I would love to be able to move them.
Yeah.
In Logic's example.
My number 4, renewable coral. So we have these very beautiful coral reefs in Minecraft. I live at one this season, and I can't tell you the amount of times people are like, hey, I need to borrow some coral. Can I go to the outskirts of your base to mine a little bit? And it's like, yeah, that's fine. Don't mine a lot. And with how Mojang is very much in the activist realm and pushing people to use their voices and stuff, mining coral and destroying coral in real life's a bad thing. So creating renewable coral, which is something we're doing now, and creating new coral reefs and stuff, seems like a great idea for Minecraft.
Yeah.
And the way Logic showed it, it's not that hard because the coral fans and stuff we see, not necessarily fans, but like the bubble coral and stuff like that, the taller versions are technically renewable in game already. So the fact that you could farm those to craft coral blocks, it seems like a good idea. And all that is just a recipe change. You're not creating new blocks or anything like that.
Yeah, just making a recipe.
Right.
Sounds logical.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah, I was hoping you picked up on that.
Yeah, and it's a great thing for Redstone community because that's another farm to build.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. The renewable coral.
Yep.
My number 3, kind of something you brought up already. I tried not to copy your list. I found some other things that I really like.
Yep, and I tried not to take all the good ones.
Yeah. I was like, man, he beat me to it. He's got a lot of good ones on here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try to not use as many. But number 3, I have the netherite insta-mining idea also. man, it's going to be annoying not having any type of insta-mine with this deep slate. It's going to be one of the most sought after blocks in the game.
Right.
A lot of people are going to want it, and it's going to be a lot better if we can insta-mine it.
Yes.
Definitely going to make life easier.
My number 3, I would have put number 2 if I haven't run into issues with number 2. But number 3, beacon beam cutoff with tinted glass. And I think this is something we've mentioned on the show, that the fact that tinted glass can now block out light, but still allow the see-through property to happen, would make total sense to be able to use that to block off beacon beams without deactivating them.
Yeah.
Because while sometimes the beacon beam is super cool looking, when you need a lot of beacons around, it's kind of ugly.
Right.
It's like having a fireworks show that's static all the time.
I always have beacons everywhere too.
Right.
You almost have to make them a part of your build, figure out a way to, make them look.
Exactly.
I don't know. So they don't hurt your eyes, they're actually pleasing.
Yeah, I generally always have 3 or 4 around my base because a lot of my bases require a lot of digging. So I'll have them in positions so I can turn them on and off, and they always have haste 2 on. So when I know I'm getting ready to dig out a large room, I can just flip the switch on, my beacons turn on, and I'm good. I would love to have like resistance or the I forget what it's called, the auto healing on all the time, but I just can't stand to look at beacon beams all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good one though. I like that. My number 2 is sand layers. He mentioned how, we have snow layers. What if we can have sand layers? Just to make building more aesthetically pleasing, I guess. Landscaping.
See, I told you, we're getting late at night and now our brains aren't working.
Yeah, I couldn't think of the word I was thinking for. That didn't even make sense what I just said. So
beautification.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. We have snow layers. Why don't we have sand layers? Why don't we have gravel layers and red sand layers?
Yeah, we brought this up a couple times, I think.
Yeah. The fact that is, I just think it's too many blocks, or at least that's the way it was last time. I think we could see stuff like this when those biomes get updated.
Yeah, I hope.
Who knows when that'll be? I know they're going to get to them.
And who would have thought beautification was the word I was looking for? And I don't even think it's a word.
It's okay. Fragile Rock popped in the live chat to let me know the word I was looking for was regeneration.
That's it. That's a real word.
Good old regen. My number 2 is a new dispenser recipe. I've had to make the multiple dispensers, and it stinks having to constantly craft bows, then craft dispensers, and Logic's fix is you should craft droppers first, which is in the recipe book and are stackable, so they're easy to craft.
Yes.
And then you would put the dropper in the middle space in the crafting recipe, and then build a bow using sticks and strings around it, which is already a recipe, just now with this dropper in the middle of it, and then that would create the dispenser. It's a great recipe.
Yeah.
And I want it 100%.
And you're using the same amount of items, technically. You're still crafting a bow.
Exactly. You're just doing it in a different order.
Yeah, because the dropper is technically the same as using a dropper and a bow to make a dispenser. Same thing.
Right.
I'm surprised no one thought of that sooner. Pretty good one.
Very good one.
I was like, man, why not think of that? There might be other things in that sense. Have you ever crafted your infinity bow into a dispenser?
Yep.
Because I have. It'll help for that reason also.
Very much.
My number 1, the one that you scolded earlier.
Didn't scold. I just gave a different opinion.
A bad Yelp review on. I picked Dying Wool because, like you said, I feel like that's the recipe for every block.
Right.
And I get the idea that, it's way more easier to farm than all the other dyeable blocks. Very true. But it's still so annoying that you have to farm extra dye to dye these things. Granted, you could farm the sheep while it's dyed in the first place. You don't technically have to dye the wool. You can farm it already dyed. That's technically what I'm doing at my base. But yeah, I just feel like, I don't know, it doesn't belong. with the 1-to-1 ratio.
And I get it. For parity's sakes, it makes way more sense to do 8 blocks of wool for 1 die. I was just offering the counter argument on why they would go against that. So, yeah.
I get it.
My number 1, we're not going to spend much talking about because it's everyone's number 1 and has been everyone's number 1 for years now. Concrete slabs and stairs.
Yeah, I figured that'd be up there.
Not in the game yet. They should be in the game by now. Just saying.
Yeah, I could easily put that on my list, of course.
Oh, yeah.
It would be nice to have concrete stairs and slabs. I wanted to mix it up a little bit, but yeah, that's definitely a big one. A lot of the community is asking for that, just keeps going in one ear out the other.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it's in that one ear pretty often.
I don't even think it's going out the other. I think it's there. I just think Mojang's waiting for the optimal time to release it. And it doesn't make sense to give slabs and stairs of concrete in a caves and cliffs update.
Right.
I think they need a bit of a building update to throw that in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it kind of sucks we're having to wait, but I think that's the thought process behind it. And see, that's why everyone's like, end update for the next update. And I'm like, no, an inventory update, because then it makes sense to give builders more blocks, like stairs and slabs.
Yeah, they're definitely going to touch up on other things before giving us that. They mentioned a while ago, they don't want to give us anything if the game's not ready for it. So,
right.
When it's ready, it's ready. I'm sure we'll get them eventually.
Mm-hmm. All right, but I think that's going to do it for today's show. Before I have Jimbo read us out, I want to say a huge thank you to all of our patrons who are supporting the show. Our milk level patrons are Omni, Chief Big Bear, Croc, Fragile Rock, O-Beep, Stone Figure, and Viper's Tuna. If you too would like to get access to exclusive benefits and hours of extra content each month, please consider joining at patreon.com/thewithering-effect.
And if you like the show, you can share it with all of your friends and on social media. If you listen on Spotify, follow us. Or if you listen on Apple Podcasts, leave us a nice review. Doing any of these really helps the show reach more listeners. If you'd like to get in contact with us, send an email to podcast@thewithering-effect.com. Tweet us, leave a voice message, or join our Discord where you can have a chat with everyone who works on the show and fellow listeners. All the links are in the show notes.
This show has been brought to you by Jimbo and myself, but also our digital producer Carl. He helps make sure the show ends up where it should be, and the amazing music you hear in the intro and outro is created by the one and only Decoy. Everyone's social media info can be found in the show notes. You guys have been awesome. Thank you so much for getting words with us. You should probably go drink your milk now. Bye.
See you guys.